Today's walk and talk brings us to the Hillside Cinema, Delafield, Wisconsin. I'm standing in front of Hillside Cinema, Delafield, Wisconsin. We're not here to see a movie. Inside this movie theater is a relic from the past I'd like to show you. And some of the movies playing here today. It's a cold day in January. Last weekend's walk and talk was a little bit warmer. It's in the 20s today. Now look on the other side here. It's been a little bit since I've been here seeing a movie. I think it was Jurassic Park last time. Avatar, probably the premier movie headliner to see right now. Coming back here, this movie theater is from 1995 when it was first built. And they've always had art inside of here. But when I first started coming here, there was that Superman Christopher Reeve where he was ripping open his shirt, and a classic Return of the Jedi scene with Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. I'll never forget that. This was on this wall every time we came in here. But what brings me here today is this game room, this arcade. Now it's not a huge game room, but in this room is where I played titles: Operation Wolf, Revolution X, Terminator 2, Area 51. This was the room where they always had those shooters. Played so many different games here in the 90s. Every time we saw a movie here, we'd come in here and play those games. Which brings me to the idea of this walk and talk. What Arcade 1-Up won't do, but iiRcade should do. It's not a knock on Arcade 1-Up or iiRcade. I'm a fanboy of both companies. I mean, I'm supporting both of these companies. It's just be completely awesome if we could download one game to Terminator 2. I mean, how many of us would download Revolution X? If there was a chance with some firmware update, $49.99, $34.99, something that Arcade 1-Up feels that they're gonna make something off of and we feel okay with paying for, it'd be awesome. And then a third-party seller, you know, Retro 530 or Sabos Arcade would have some kind of decal that we would put underneath the T2 on the front of that cabinet where the molded coin door would have been. Just kind of like how Battletoads is on KI. It'd be a great idea. But Arcade 1-Up is in it to sell cabinets, and it's fine. That's why this video is what Arcade 1-Up won't do, but iiRcade should do. Well, the bottom line is iiRcade got Operation Wolf. This is a AAA banger title. One of the best shooting games of all time. And there's gonna be more shooting games they have, and you're probably sitting there going, well, when is this game gonna be released? I mean, they've been talking about this in summer. When this game is 100% ready, we'll have it. I mean, look how long they took on Space Invaders. When everything is good to go, we'll get this game. And everyone that has this option to be able to play that on their iiRcade, whether it's the first gen or the gold, we're all gonna download it. So here's my theory. iiRcade's gonna get us other shooting games. I think we're gonna see Area 51. I think it's possible. If they could get Operation Wolf, they can get Area 51. They can get Lethal Enforcers. Lethal Enforcers 2, the Old West. These would be awesome features to have on our iiRcades. People flock to the racing games. I flock to those shooting games. You know, that's what I played the most here was the shooters. This reminded me of when you're playing Area 51, Lethal Enforcers, that reload would come up. Those are fun games. I hope either iiRcade has them available for download or Arcade 1-Up puts them in like shooting what cabinets they make. Like, I don't know if we're gonna get like a Lethal Enforcers cab, but maybe they could put it on something down the road. Maybe if they did have an Area 51 cabinet, that would be like a bonus game. They hit that turbo button on there too.
I can't, only when it flashes. Like driving down in the city every day.
This is pretty much how chaos does drive. Alright, we'll play some Medieval Madness. My parents have this on that Attack from Mars pinball.
This is a small arcade.
I know, they had the classics here though. They had the classics here. This is where a lot of good games were, and they weren't here for long. But I played a lot of games here in the mid-90s. We'll take a look at the Game of Thrones pinball.
I demand a trial by combat.
Here's another chance.
I had to get those pinball games in for Beggy D. It's too bad they don't have a shooting game here. I mean, this is a small arcade, but I mean, trust me, they were all here, and a lot of them were right in this middle area. Like this was a different setup in the mid-90s. I just wanted to come back here and talk about those shooting games. The thing about Revolution X, going back to the 90s here, Aerosmith was so big, and I know they're a 70s band. They were so big. Midway gives them an arcade game, a shooting with machine guns, right? I mean, how crazy is that? And not only that, Disney World puts in one of the best indoor roller coasters I've ever been on, Rock and Roller Coaster, at previously known MGM Studios, which is now Hollywood Studios. And it's not a knock on Aerosmith, but like, I'm not interested in having an Aerosmith themed arcade cabinet in my home, and I know a lot of people would. A lot of people would want that in like their theater rooms or their living rooms. It'd just be so much more convenient for like me, and you know, there might be others that would just rather have that download on a Terminator 2 cabinet. If there was just one game Arcade 1-Up would do, that would be awesome. It's all I ask for. But if they can't, and if they're not going to, iiRcade, give us those shooting games. That's all we want. That would be awesome. You know, we don't care about those other titles. We don't care about any Capcom. Give us some more shooting games. This looks like a great movie. How many of us are gonna go see the new Indiana Jones movie? It's Hollywood magic right here, just like when they brought out the Maverick. So I wanted to come back here to start out the walk and talk, and just talking about those classic shooting arcade games that were in this theater. I mean, this is where we came. I mean, in '95, I got my driver's license, and this movie theater, I have seen more movies here than any other theater, and this is where we all came. And every time we finished, we came in that arcade, and those shooting titles were there. And, you know, they'd switch them out. It's not like all of those gun games were here at the same time. And that's something that I'm looking at with my home arcade, that, you know, we say, you know, I'm never gonna get rid of these titles. But, you know, in this hobby, we're gonna swap them out with other ones. I didn't really like the new Deluxe editions, but I get it. They need ways to sell these to us. No risers. I mean, we're slowly gonna start swapping these out. You know, we'll see, you know, in the next year or two, like, where our arcades go. I mean, we'll see what the changes that are coming. You know, this hobby is just gonna keep going, and I give Arcade One Up credit. They're keeping us to buy more cabinets as long as we're gonna get what we want. But with iiRcade, we can buy games from you. If you just give us these other titles, give us some more shooting titles. When you've critiqued Operation Wolf, try to get us Area 51, Lethal Enforcers. I mean, that's what we want. You know, I've seen the movies here, Jumanji, Independence Day, Forrest Gump, just to name a few. This theater was like the theater I go to as a teenager. You know, those summers, those winters. I'll never forget in 1995 when the Packers, Brett Favre wins his first MVP. NFC Championship game, we lose to Dallas. We're at Dallas. We're just devastated. We came here that night to see a movie. We saw Jumanji that night. I mean, this is just one of those theaters where I have so many memories here. And that arcade room had these awesome titles. I'll never forget that.
Just heading out of here, I just wanted to show you that Superman classic, Christopher Reeve. It's the best Superman ever.
So it's stopping off for a coffee. In Delafield, this is considered Lake Country. Around Hillside Cinema, which was built in 1995, the shopping has really built up around here, really surrounded this area. It started off with Kohl's in the mid-90s, and then everyone else started moving in here. Marshall's, Sierra Trading Post, Home Goods, you know, the strip mall behind me with restaurants. This is about 20 minutes west of Milwaukee, and everyone in the area, like, this is their go-to for shopping.
Meet up with KS. I think she's in Sierra Trading Post, so we might hit up Home Goods while we're here. At Sierra Trading Post right now, just taking a look at these skateboards. Like, skateboards are coming back. You know, these look pretty good. You know, back in the 80s, you know, we were all big skateboarders. And those Sierra Trading Post commercials, I always thought that was David Spade's voice. Now they're starting to show him on those commercials. And it's funny when you're actually right about, like, who is that? That voice sounds so familiar. So if I can make it this entire month without buying another arcade, I saw that MVSX Unico with the riser for $569 on sale. That riser is $100. The 50 games in there, you know, I know that 40 of them are fighters, but that is on my radar right now.
Stopping off at Home Goods here. So there is another sale on the regular MVSX without the riser for $539. I mean, that's the cheapest I've seen it. For another $30 to get that with the riser, $569. This is gonna be a hard one to talk myself out of this month.
You know, take a look at the different types of furniture. Compare it to your game room. Like, it doesn't all have to match. We can have some with risers, we can have some without. I'm really starting to consider the Deluxe Legacy, the new form factor. I think we can mix and match in our arcades.
Stopping in Marshall's now. It's funny, we were just talking about Jumanji at the movie theater. There's the classic game. Talking about Mortal Kombat 2 Legacy, you know, I was originally thinking if the price was right on MK30, if you know, it drops down to $199 or less, you could always swap out that monitor. But I'm really starting to dig the new Deluxe Legacy form factor, Mortal Kombat 2. Because if I got the MVSX, something's going to have to get sold. So I'd sell the Mortal Kombat 2 Legacy. And in spring, summer, when Mortal Kombat 2 Deluxe is available, I'd pick that up. I'm really starting to lean towards this. All right, and we're finishing this up at Target today. I came here for a reason. I got something awesome. It's the last one here. All right, so I've had my eye on this for a little while. It's the last one here. Something my dad would just absolutely love. So I'm going to get this. It's because he would. So I don't know if I'll put it in the gym or the arcade, but I'm going to pick this baby up.
All right, here's my closing thoughts for today's walk and talk. We're back in the arcade. So what Arcade 1-Up won't do, but iiRcade should do. Before I had a chance to do this video, I had a plan a couple of weeks ago, and just the news and events from that point to now, I mean, has completely changed this idea of my video. Just from CES alone, you see the new form factor of the Deluxe Legacy Edition cabinets. Arcade 1-Up, I mean, and we all know this, Arcade 1-Up is in it to make cabinets. That's what we are reliving here. It's the replicas of the cabinets we remember. So for me to sit here and say, you know what, it'd be nice if we could get download on online capable cabinets that they've made. And the answer is probably no. Maybe in the future, they go that route down the road when we're just like, okay, we cannot possibly keep buying these cabinets. But until then, we're gonna buy the cabinets, right? And I'm on board with the Deluxe. I said that, you know, if we had a deal on the MK30th, you know, nobody buy any legacies right now. If they drop them to $199 or less, I'll pick that up. I'll take the BOE out of Mortal Kombat 2, pop it in there, and you know that with the form factor, it's an awesome looking cabinet. I mean, it would look just like, you know, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I mean, this cabinet with the BOE MK30th. But the more I think about this, I think I want to get the Mortal Kombat 2 Deluxe Edition. I mean, why not? Why not just start getting the best looking cabinets we can get? Do I change out everything in here with that have risers? I mean, I can't say yes or no. I mean, we'll see, only time will tell. But I do like the Deluxe, and you know, I'm kind of eyeing Class of '81. These are just, the game selection on there is awesome. The fact that it looks as close to an arcade yet with that recessed screen. Also, the MVSX. This is the cheapest I've seen this. You can get the one without the riser for $539. I mean, it's not that much cheaper than what we've seen, but that's as low as I've seen this cabinet. The risers cost $100. And, you know, I've defended Mortal Kombat 2 Legacy and the Street Fighter 2 Legacy. You know, people say, you know, you lose the screen when you're standing in front of it. But, you know, if we're going to go bigger on the Deluxe, why not go bigger on the MVSX? If they're offering that cabinet with the riser for $569, $579, I mean, it's not too bad of a price. I'm really leaning towards picking that up. Unfortunately, if I did, Mortal Kombat 2 would probably have to go. Because, you know what, I'm interested in just getting as tall a cabinets as I can. Why not? I mean, this is the direction we're going in. So that's pretty much where I'm at with the arcades right now. And you know, I think Arcade 1-Up is doing what we want them to do, what we're hoping that they do, and that's recreate memories we have of those cabinets. And memories I have is going back to Hillside Cinema in an arcade where I spent a lot of quarters. A lot of the best shooting games I've ever played were in that arcade. And it's unfortunate that the game lineup in there now is nothing to brag about. You know, KS had fun playing that racing game, and I checked out the pinballs, but I mean, that was it. There was no other stand-up arcade machine in there. But when, you know, in 95, 96, and 1997, they had, you know, 1 to 2 different shooting games every time you went there. And that's where I played Lethal Enforcers, Area 51, Revolution X, and Terminator 2, along with Operation Wolf. And you know, the 90s and now it's just 2 different time. You know, maybe they're too violent for today's standards. And I mean, I'm not going to fault a movie theater for not having, you know, certain arcade titles in there, but you know, I didn't play a lot of Time Crisis, and I wasn't really familiar with Ridge Racer either. After PlayStation 1, I didn't get PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3. I went the Xbox route, and that's where those titles went. You had series of games on PlayStation that you would have played those. So I only played those other ones. I played you know, Area 51 a lot more. Like, I don't have much knowledge for Time Crisis. iiRcade, though, if they could get Operation Wolf, what's to say they can't get Area 51? You know, I mean, there's possibilities here, and that's what's exciting about what direction iiRcade's going to go and what cabinets Arcade 1-Up's going to make. I mean, we have no idea. I guess they could make an Area 51 cabinet. Only time will tell. It's exciting to be collecting. You know, we had some fun today. We saw some stuff, and I just wanted to show off that arcade. I mean, there's not too many arcades that I went to that are still standing, and that was one of them. Nothing to brag about, but that was one of them. Also, picking this up was all part of the plan today. Like, I wanted to get this Enterprise picked up. It was the last one at one of the Targets near me, and my dad would have absolutely loved this. You know, he was a big Star Trek fan, and this is cool. It's got some effects here.
Arm photon torpedoes.
This will be good. This will be awesome to put out. I mean, you can just see it's got some stand here you can display it on. Looks like it lights up. So, not sure where it's going to go yet, but, you know, I wanted to pick this one up. I said last week that, you know, we can only get so much stuff, you know, as a collector. Like, you have to say no once in a while. This was one of those, I didn't want to pass it up. You know, I didn't want to have regrets. Maybe you could still pick them up online, but I saw it at the store. I had a little bit left on a Target gift card, and I had some money in Target Circle, so that's what I used it for. So I thought bringing up the MVSX sale price would be a good idea because of this micro pinball. I'm going to do a review on this week. I have Arcade 1-Ups in here. I have the iiRcade Gold. I think that if I'm going to upload content, I need to have as many brands in here as I can. That's why I went with the At Games micro pinball machine. You know, since I bought my parents the Attack from Mars Arcade 1-Up pinball, I went with the At Games micro pinball. Just so I could have a feel for both, because I mean, I couldn't bring them both in here, and I thought that the Arcade 1-Up was, I mean, it's an awesome pinball. It was just too big for this room, and I could get the micro in here. I think it will fit in good with this room. I had some ideas for the stand, what legs to use, which I'll get to in the future here, but we'll kick off a review this week. I'm excited to open this up and check it out. There's some games I want to download for this too. Next week's episode is gonna be a different walk and talk. We're gonna go somewhere. I've been planning on going here for a couple of weeks now, and I think this will be a good time to check out a collectible store, and it's just there's everything at this place. I'm excited. I don't want to say too much, but next week we'll have a really unique walk and talk. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys next time.